In the early 90s, slasher movies weren't as popular as they used to be, but that all changed with Scream, a movie that honored the classics while completely reinventing the genre with a villain who loved classic horror movies.
What's your favorite scary movie?
The movie became a hit by playing with the usual horror movie rules.
If they watch Prom Night, they'd save time. Everybody's a suspect!
Which led to plenty of clever references.
Not your friend.
But beyond all that, we'll uncover the real case that inspired the story. So get your popcorn ready and let's explore the fascinating facts behind Scream. In the mid-90s, screenwriter Kevin Williamson was trying to get a horror script picked up in Hollywood. He had even written a draft adaptation of I Know What You Did Last Summer, but no studio was interested because the genre was struggling at the box office at the time. But in 1995, he got an idea after watching a news report about the Gainesville Ripper. The killer, Danny Rolling, had broken into the homes of college students in Florida. The case got a lot of attention because of the violent way the 5 victims were found, with clear signs of a knife attack. Rolling was caught after robbing a supermarket and being chased by police. It was only after his arrest that investigators discovered he was responsible for the crimes against the students. He was later sentenced and executed in 2006.
And then we found out about the third, so we knew that there was a monster out there.
Watching that news report left Williamson with a strong sense of isolation. The fear of being alone at home drove him to write 120 pages in just 48 hours, listening to John Carpenter's Halloween score for inspiration. In the end, the real crime mainly inspired the atmosphere, with college students being stalked in their own homes. Once the script was finished, Williamson put it up for sale on a Friday. By Monday, Paramount and Universal were already competing to buy it. But it was Miramax, through its Dimension Films label owned by the Weinstein brothers, that ultimately closed the deal. At first, the studio approached Wes Craven to direct. He was already famous for A Nightmare on Elm Street, but since he was busy with the remake of The Haunting, he initially turned it down.
Don't worry, he'll be back.
After that, Robert Rodriguez, George Romero, and Sam Raimi were also among the directors considered. But according to Williamson, none of them really understood the concept. They wanted to turn it into a comedy instead of a horror movie that paid tribute to the genre.
Watch a few movies, take a few notes. It was fun.
Meanwhile, the Haunting remake didn't happen, so Wes Craven got back in touch and agreed to direct Scream. When Wes Craven joined the project, the movie was still called Scary Movie, but shortly before filming wrapped, the Weinstein brothers decided to change the title to Scream. According to reports, they got the idea after hearing Michael Jackson's song Scream and thought it was the perfect name for a horror movie with a satirical edge.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
But the Scary Movie title didn't go to waste. It was later used for the comedy parody series that spoofed Scream and other horror movies, produced by the same company.
We all go a little crazy sometimes.
With the director on board, the first choice for Sydney was Molly Ringwald. She was hugely popular in the 80s for teen comedies like The Breakfast Club, Pretty in Pink, and 16 Candles. But she turned it down because she didn't want to play a teenager at 27.
How do you do, fellow kids?
After that, Drew Barrymore was cast as the lead, but later, she asked to play the first victim in the opening scene instead. Barrymore knew this would completely subvert audience expectations, since she was the most famous actress in the cast, even getting more attention on the poster than the actual lead.
You fooled us, sir.
The role of Sydney ended up going to Neve Campbell because director Wes Craven believed she could play someone both innocent and capable of defending herself. Even though she didn't really like horror movies, she accepted the role because her friend Skeet Ulrich, who had also been in The Craft, was already cast. Before him, the top choice for Billy Loomis was actually Joaquin Phoenix, but he turned it down. Courteney Cox was the one who really pushed to get the role of reporter Gale Weathers. She wanted to break away from her sweet good girl image as Monica on Friends. That was actually the reason producers didn't want to cast her at first, but she fought for it and ended up doing an amazing job.
I know.
On set, Courteney met David Arquette, who would later become her husband. He played the bumbling Deputy Dewey.
What?
Hello.
I said don't disturb you, I'm cleaning my room!
Originally, he wasn't supposed to survive the first movie, but they added the ambulance scene at the end because test audiences really loved his character. Maybe that's why he keeps getting beaten up, but somehow always survives.
So he's an idiot.
Scream is one of my favorite horror franchises, and I'm planning to make a video for each of the movies. So if you want to catch all the behind the scenes details, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything, and hit the like button if you're enjoying these horror facts. Since Scream sets out to play with the horror genre, the movie includes several references, especially to John Carpenter's classic Halloween.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Halloween. You know, the one with the guy in the white mask.
He also added references to his own most famous movie at the time, A Nightmare on Elm Street, starting with that sly line he almost didn't include.
Yeah, Freddy Krueger. Wow, well the first one was, but the rest sucked.
That line is there because he directed the first but didn't come back for the sequels. Except for Wes Craven's New Nightmare, but let's just forget about that.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you will, look right here.
But the writer Kevin Williamson convinced him to keep it in because it felt like something a real fan would say.
That's true.
Beyond that, Billy sneaks into his girlfriend's bedroom through the window, just like Johnny Depp's character does in A Nightmare on Elm Street. In that same scene, you hear an acoustic version of Don't Fear the Reaper, which also plays in Halloween.
I plan on making popcorn and watching Dr. Dementia.
When Billy gets arrested, you hear his last name for the first time.
I caught him, Sheriff. Billy Loomis.
Which is the same last name as Dr. Sam Loomis, Michael Myers' psychiatrist in Halloween. But after all the Halloween references, there's even a quick cameo from Linda Blair, best known for The Exorcist.
It's the power of Christ that compels you.
In another moment, Wes Craven himself makes a cameo dressed like Freddy Krueger.
Not your friend.
At one point, Sydney's friend mixes up the names Wes Craven and John Carpenter in a meta joke.
You're starting to sound like some Wes Carpenter flick or something.
And to really drive home the influence, the characters are actually watching Halloween in the final act. There's even a fun meta moment where Randy yells at the screen telling Jamie Lee Curtis to look behind her, and the actor playing Randy is actually named Jamie, so it's like he's warning himself.
Jamie, look behind you. Look behind you.
Ghostface's costume became one of the most iconic horror outfits ever. Originally, they planned for it to be all white to make him look even more like a ghost, but the production team decided to change it because they were worried it would be compared to outfits used by extremist groups. The iconic mask was mainly inspired by Edvard Munch's famous painting The Scream, but it also drew influences from old Betty Boop cartoon ghosts, and even Pink Floyd's The Wall album art.
You sell this costume every 5 and dime in the state.
At first, the Weinstein brothers thought the mask looked a little too silly and asked the team to film a scene using 7 different mask options so they could choose one, but the production refused, and the brothers were finally convinced after watching the first attack scene with Drew Barrymore.
Approved!
What's interesting is that the mask already existed before the movie. It was created by Fun World and was originally called the Peanut-Eyed Ghost until Wes Craven discovered it and licensed it with the name Father Death, and it gets its nickname Ghostface from Tatum in the movie.
No, please don't kill me, Mr. Ghostface. I want to be in the sequel.
Even though Ghostface was physically played by Skeet Ulrich and Matthew Lillard, they didn't do the voice on the phone. That creepy voice was actually performed by voice actor Roger Jackson, who's also known as the voice of Mojo Jojo from the Powerpuff Girls.
I am Mojo Jojo!
Originally, the plan was to use his voice only during filming and replace it in post-production, but his performance was so chilling that they decided to keep it as the official Ghostface voice.
I told you not to hang up on me.
All the phone calls you hear in the movie were real, made by him using a cell phone while filming. And to make it even more unsettling, none of the cast actually met Roger before shooting began. It worked so well that at one point the production was even contacted by police after someone reported the disturbing calls.
I found this.
Scream had a budget of $14 million, and the studio thought it would be a smart move to release it around Christmas, since there wouldn't be much horror competition, with most movies at that time being family-friendly. After an opening weekend of just $6.3 million, they worried it was going to flop, since box office numbers usually drop even more in the following weeks. But strong word of mouth helped it earn over $100 million in the US alone, with a worldwide total of $173 million. This success revived the slasher subgenre and led to a wave of copycat movies like Disturbing Behavior, Urban Legend, and even I Know What You Did Last Summer, which Kevin Williamson had also written but only sold after Scream became a hit.
You're hired.
The franchise has 4 movies directed by Wes Craven, and 2 more directed by the duo Matt Bettinelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillette, who managed to keep the classic spirit of the series alive.
Always goes back to the original.
Before you go, don't forget to leave a comment and tell us what's your favorite scary movie.